This is our Unconstitutional Awakening program.
Liftoff will start in T-minus 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have ignition.
Brought to you by KD Consulting Redesigned.
Ahoy there, mateys. It's time to set sail on another episode of Unconstitutional Awakening, the podcast. I'm your host, Jim Bob Ovalshorts, and tonight our special guest is from My Third Eye podcast. He goes by the name of Ghost. We were totally a guest on one of his shows called Talk at the Tavern a few weeks ago. There's some links on unconstitutionalawakening.com, of course, that'll get you back to that if you guys didn't get to see it and want to check it out. But, we're just going to catch up on what he does over there on My Third Eye podcast and probably some of the work he does over there with our buddy Shane from Inquiries of Reality. You know, this is another one of those members of that fantabulous podcast family I keep telling you guys about that I have kind of become a part of thanks to Instagram and the podcasting world. There's so many fantabulous podcasters out there doing amazing things and having amazing conversations, and I just can't get enough of talking to them. So we're going to do a good conversation tonight, I think, here with Ghost, and this will probably be a good rocking episode. So you guys buckle up. I have some good feelings about tonight. But of course, as normal, you know that we can find all of the great things to be able to get back to Ghost and everything that he's doing, as well as other things that we have going on over there at unconstitutionalawakening.com, the home for everything Unconstitutional Awakening. We've got all kinds of great things going on over there, you guys. In the podcast and more section, you can watch episodes of this show, episodes of me on the Red Makes You Think on the Red Pill Project, and sometimes Fringe on Friday nights with Josh Reed. There's also links to all the places that we have been lucky enough to be guests at, on top of things that Bandit and Luis and Caitlin and KellKell and Neptune and even Ox are all getting into and sharing with everybody. You can get back to all them and myself on social media over there in the host section. There's links to all kinds of things like our YouTube channel that's YouTube / Unconstitutional Awakening, as well as all of our social medias, Instagrams, TikToks, and so forth and such. There's all kinds of great links in that area, as well as right here on the main page. There's links for how you can watch us on Rumble, Odyssey, and BitChute. And I want to give a shout out to everybody over there on Rumble, Odyssey, and BitChute. Y'all been killing it here recently, and I hope you continue to keep giving us all that love you've been given, which very much appreciated. As well as all the folks listening worldwide on all of the audio apps that we are, and that keeps growing as well. The ones that are listed here don't even touch the surface. I've been learning here recently. If you just search on any podcast app that exists currently, you can find this goofy mug. So, wherever you're listening at, I appreciate it. You guys are the reason that we keep doing this. And I think it's super awesome that there's folks worldwide checking us out. You can also check us out right there on the website while you're there. If you haven't ever given us a good listen, there's plenty of episodes to thumb through on the player right there on the website. And while you're there, you can get you some sweet Unconstitutional Awakening merch. It's got the Freedom Pirate flag, the shirt that I've got on. You can even get the cool little UA symbol we got right here. And it's on all kinds of things. You guys just go thumb through there and see if there's something you can hook yourself up with. as well as checking out our friends in Liberty, Kirk Elliott, Peachy Key Creations, Ammo Can Survival, and my good buddy over there, Brett Pike with Classical Learner and Homeschools Connected. All of these people are doing some awesome things for alternative answers to the current norm. So I recommend you guys go and give them a check out, man. And if you tell them Jim Bob sent you, they gonna hook you up. So y'all make sure y'all take care of it. And anybody else out there that is looking for, a shout out or anything like that, get with me. We can get it arranged, man. We're all about trying to help each other make a better tomorrow. That's the point of everything we're doing here, ladies and gentlemen. And I can't thank everybody enough. And I look forward to many more episodes. We're already in triple digits and it just keeps on trucking. And we've got some big stuff coming up here in the coming week. So you guys be paying attention and listening out. We got some announcements as well as some what I consider high profile guests coming to visit us. So I guess it's time to just kick back and get into this episode. So let's set sail on another adventure, y'all. So how is everyone doing tonight? I got Bandit and KellKell to join me and hosting Ghost. Ghost, of course, is the host of many, host and co-host of many different things he's got going on. I just figured I'd let you let him tell you what he's got going on. So, Ghost, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good, man. I was looking forward to this. I feel so bad that we had to reschedule from about, what was it, 2 weeks ago. But man, so glad to be here, and thank you for having me on. You can find me at My Third Eye Podcast. You can get that anywhere you get a podcast player. I release 3 episodes a week.
Nice.
With first one, the main episode goes out on Wednesdays. You get the first hour free, and then on Monday I release Talk at the Tavern, which is a roundtable I host every Friday, and you get the first hour of that free as well. And then on Tuesdays, Ryan and I from Dangerous World Podcast teamed up to do a conspiracy news type show, and we're the Conspiracy Underground News Team. If you get the acronym to that, we will see you next Tuesday. I am the left lip, and he's the right lip of the show, and we just take listeners and supporters of the show's questions, voicemails, or like voice questions, and play them, and then we answer them, from a more of a conspiracy minded type thing. And you can also find me over at patreon.com/My Third Eye Podcast. And like everything else, you can also find my second show that I do with Shane from Inquiries of Our Reality. We do Bizarre Encounters, and that's released every Thursday. So, and you can also find that anywhere you get a podcast player.
Man, we just had Ryan on last week. Actually, he was a blast. Actually, we had a good time with him. He brought up something that kind of floored me. It made me make a Daywalker South Park joke, because I'm blonde on top, but I got a red beard, and he was talking about how they have replaced every redheaded character with either a person of color or a person from the LGB community, but they're no longer redheaded characters in the comics. They're the ones they're choosing to change into new characters. And I was took away by it, and I looked it up, and I mean, whoa, just absolutely whoa. That's an interesting.
Well, the newest one is Ariel.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like that's just an interesting thing to me, because especially looking in the comic lore part of it, I'm a big comic book guy, man. Like, I love comic books. I grew up with comic books. I've got stacks and stacks of them back out there in the other room, and I got to looking at this list and was just like, whoa, like there is so many established characters that were like definitely like ones that I was just like, hey, that's a cool character, that's a standout character, and now they have a whole new story and a whole new backstory. And I'm not against giving love around to everybody that's out there. I just think maybe these companies like Dark Horse and DC and Marvel should do a better job of being creative and coming up with something new.
Mm-hmm.
What you got, Kel?
Hey Jay, I had dated a redhead girl, original, not dyed, but a real redhead, and she was like super cool. So this really got me like I'm questioning that. So you just brought something to my attention.
I'm actually going to bring the article back up for this episode, and I'm of course you guys know all links, including links for like my buddy Ghost here, and all our hosts and stuff on their social media, and everything we talk about are always shared with each episode. So make sure you check that out if you ever want to look at something that's not visually available to you when you're listening. But this blew my mind, is this whole article he sent me, and it goes through listing. It says in fact that it's not a finished article, like it's continuously added to, and like it has gone further outside of the comic realm too, and into like the movies and stuff like that. But I was just like, this is interestingly amazing. Like
Yeah.
of all the people they chose to eliminate, why the
Right.
redheads?
Yeah, what is it? That got my attention. Like, I gonna rack my brain now, Jay, till I figure out.
Yeah, I believe that we covered that on an episode of Conspiracy Underground, and
Nice.
I think, I mean, if you look at Native American lore, there and even around the world, there's a supposed race of redheaded giants at some point. And the red hair gene is so rare. And when I don't know, when you look at like Irish people, okay, stereotypically you think pasty white skin, redhead, okay, and nothing wrong with that. Redheads, they're hot, they're feisty, but there's a reason. And I don't know what it is, why they're trying to eliminate them, if they think maybe they have some sort of, I don't want to say superiority, or if it's something with their blood, because a lot of redheads and what have you tend to be Rh negative. And when you have Rh negative blood, you don't get a lot of sicknesses, including COVID. And with Rh negative comes your blood's more equal to like a crab. It has I forget what it is. It's not iron enriched. It's I forget the chemical compound that it's made up of, but it's very closely related to like the blue crab. And so I don't know if there's something with the blood or whatever, and with the whole pandemic that went on, and I know it's just comic books and movies, but who's to say they're not actually targeting these people in real life?
It's an interesting thought, because I'll come to bat for them here for sure. Redheads, I do agree with this article here about redheads being a non-recognized minority of people. And I have seen redheads of all races. And I do think they're beautiful regardless of where they come from and stuff. You know what I'm saying? But like I've worked with redheads of African descent. I've met a natural Asian redhead. That one blew my mind. And I know a lot of redheads, and I've got the partial thing in it. My mom was redheaded. You can find it in my family a good bit, and it's just like, why I don't know why go after somebody that definitely just leaves folks alone. Go ahead, Bandit.
There's a video floating around of someone made the comment that since the color brown does not exist, that all brunettes are just a shade of gingers. That's all they are. The color brown does not exist on the color spectrum. It's just a darker orange. So brunettes are really redheads.
Interesting, because that's like my second favorite choice.
There's a reason why, though.
That's plausible, because they say, according to the spectrum, I have brown eyes, but sometimes how the sun hit it, I look, it does look kind of orangish, Bandit. There's something to that.
So there is actually some science behind what he's saying, and there is some videos floating around about it. But I guess to give the way they try to explain it in words is that it's actually wavelength hues of yellow, orange, and red, and low luminescence or saturation.
Yeah, there's no wavelength for the color brown. That's another way to say it. It's just there's no wavelength for the color brown.
There's not no brown in the rainbow color either. The seven spectrum.
Yeah, it's different. It's just different light light shades of it. But I was sitting here trying to look for something about the blood thing you had made mentioned, and there is a lot. It was copper based. I think was what you were looking for iron.
Yes,
I think you were saying, but it's copper based. And yes, there does seem to be something like that going on, like a similar thing. Like there's not really any good articles. I want to dig a little harder, but like it seems to be talking about the copper based thing might have something to do with, because you're right about the thing about them, most of us being having that blood type or whatever like that. Me and a lot of people I know that all have red in our family or red on us, that we've been that for the most part. Like a lot, not every single one of them, but I'm just saying a lot of us have. Like man, that you brought a good point to that, man. I appreciate that. That was a good way to look at that. I'm gonna definitely got some more to dig on there. So, has anybody seen the nonsense? I brought it up in my group chat earlier, and I don't know how much you keep up with things that are going on.
I probably have seen the nonsense.
I know you have.
I keep up on the nonsense.
We were discussing it, and you were talking about how disgusting it was, and it's kind of riding on me now because I've been looking at it too. But it was the FDA raiding that Amish farm over in Pennsylvania.
See, the thing is, that was a while ago, though.
It was.
Yeah.
That hasn't been recent.
It's just coming back in the news again.
If you've seen the videos of that, it's absolutely like heartbreaking to watch that. To know these, the Amish have lived pretty sheltered from, government interference for a long time.
I guess.
They didn't get COVID either, Bandit.
I guess I guess that's why it's back in the news again, because they're getting, because there's a lot of things going on recently with like COVID type stuff or whatever. There's been quite a few of these Amish farmers given a really hard time about even selling their products locally on the side of their venues and stuff. Like they're apparently cracking down on them in Pennsylvania for selling at their own farm stands and such like that, right? In current times. And I think that's just, I don't know, man. Like me, Bandit, I know me and you are big into doing our own food.
They want to control the pipeline of food you get your food from. They don't want you going outside of like processed food. So, processed food creates return customers to hospitals. Keeps you sick. They don't want you eating from farmers markets. They don't want you getting your food from the Amish. They don't want you. Yeah, it's.
Well, you can tie this. Oh, go ahead, Kel.
Just one point. They also want to sell all the farmers, the ones that's remaining that they haven't subsidized to not farm, the seeds, which is GMO. And like we talked about last show, Ben, I think you made the point about is birth control. So that's what I wanted to point out about the seeds they want to sell to the ones that's the remaining farmers also. So there it goes. Thank you, brother.
What you guys are talking about is down in Lancaster County, which is roughly about an hour and a half south of where I live. And Lancaster is known. I mean, like when people think of Amish in Pennsylvania, they think Lancaster. Okay. Yeah. They're not really targeting, that I've seen or heard, any Amish farms or farmers markets around where I live. You know what I mean? I can still go to these little stands. Now I have my own chicken, so I get my own eggs, but if I want some good produce or whatever, seasonal, obviously, or, my wife and I will be on a backcountry road, and you can't go on a backcountry road in Pennsylvania and not come across at some point a little stand, honor system. You put your little money in, you grab your fruits and vegetables and this and that. Now, if the FDA is so cracking down hard on this, it kind of goes back into, this railroad strike. Okay. Biden came out, and his first thing that he was so adamant about is we can't get the chemicals across country to put in our drinking water. Why do you need chemicals in your drinking water? Just as they're trying to crack down on this one particular Amish farmer, and anybody that wants to buy organic raw milk or food that hasn't been sprayed with Monsanto poisonings or anything like that, it's because they want to keep us in a state of sickness and a state of dumbness. Just like why now you're starting to see a big push on attack on marijuana again, where all of a sudden everybody was like for it, and now it's like, oh shit. Well, the reason for that is an old study. I forget when it was. It might have been, maybe 60s, 70s, somewhere in there. Came out and basically was admitting that, well, if people are smoking marijuana, they can't be brainwashed because it blocks the receptors and whatever, if they're putting fluoride in or using different tones or whatever on the TV. Okay, well, shit. Fuck, we legalize something that is going to keep them awake. No, we got to put them back to sleep. We got to keep them in that fog of, okay, got to do what the TV says. Okay, get my booster. Okay, I better turn on CNN or Fox or this or that. I better just stay in line. No, wake up.
Yeah, well,
sorry. Went on.
No apology.
They feel inadequate when they question what the boob tubes say. They feel like they're not a citizen, like they're breaking a law by questioning. So they go right in. They don't go. It's some smart dummies, and I hate to be rude. I don't want to like be condescending on anybody. That's not my intention. But some people are just too smart to be so gullible. That's the word I should have used, because they don't question.
Now, other than your little mishap, Kel, with Sharon or whatever, think about how often you actually ever get sick. And you said, hey, we smoke. I smoke, and I'd give anything to do that again. I have a CDL. I can't. However, there's good reason why the earth gives us stuff to heal ourselves and keep ourselves healthy. You know what I mean? Like, I was telling you, I gave you a video of how to make some quinine, get that shit out of your system and keep your immune system boosted up. Marijuana does the same thing.
But what goes for marijuana today ain't really marijuana. It's not original. It's GMO marijuana now.
Yes.
It's not.
There's hit or miss. You can still find some real stuff from real seeds out there.
Okay.
It does exist. Like there are people that sell like actual seeds that are non-feminized and stuff like that. And you bring up the CDL thing, and that immediately throws my brain. I don't drive the big truck anymore. I just drive a small box truck now. But there was a time that I had to have all kinds of special license for delivering the appliances that I had, and good God, sir, I know that you have got to relate when it comes back to saying that the state does way too much interfering when it comes into work and not work in a truck. Like, I think that's something that a lot of people don't understand. Like, there is just so much, to the point that they can check how long you slept. And now a lot of them have gone digital and shit like that. And it is just, like, Casey, Bandit, I think you missed out on all that stuff. I know you used to mess around with all that stuff, but I think you missed out, man. Like, you're muted. You're back.
I think he froze. Say something, Bandit.
Say something, buddy.
Oh, he's trying. His mic took a shit on him again.
Oh, well, he's gonna try to straighten himself up while he's sitting there. But and the only reason I'm trying to call him out is because I know that he drove, I think, if I'm not mistaken, for some time too. And I mean, I watched it kind of encroach in a company that I was in. Like, when I was first starting driving around, like it was kind of a local in the state type company. I was just literally taking them from like Whirlpool, the factory, and delivering them to multiple different, retailers that were shipping them out and stuff. But I'm taking 40 fridges at like one time. You know what I mean? Like to big places and stuff like that. And so, but man, I used to get given a hard time in my place though, because I was the back road bandit. Like I was the first person to know if I was going down in that area where there was going to be a way station. And it's not because I was illegal or anything. It's just because, I mean, dude, you no telling what kind of shit you're going to have to deal with or which officer is going to be in a bad mood that day. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. We used to run into a lot of trouble with these appliances. At least other trucks did. I never did, but that was just my thing, I guess. I'd get in between the state without having to ever have to really worry about it. Staying in some.
Yeah, weigh scales are our enemies.
Like when I had started, well, I still have it LLC for I was doing dispatching, right? And my LLC is still active. It's called Express Dispatching Services, right? And I was looking to break through and make network with truckers and stuff like that, right? And off record, I want to ask you and go some questions about networking in the near future. But this is my question to you guys. What do you think about like when they had the shipping containers out of because this during that time I was getting trying to make my breakthrough in it. And the truckers was giving me some information about everything slowed down because the containers, remember they had all the containers out there on the water for months.
Mm-hmm.
They would let the cargo come in, and if a truck don't move, America basically shut down because that's the backbone of the country really transporting these goods around. Without truckers are like bees in nature. Trucks without moving goods around, this thing will shut down. So what do you guys take on that, on like the containers and the truck in we were talking about CDLs like the truck and how would that did you link it? Because I didn't piece any pieces together. Like what was I know it was something behind it, but what was the reason why they had all the containers for months out there? Truckers were losing money. The owner operators money start trickling down. Did you guys find out anything on why was did they blame it on COVID? Did I miss something? Or what?
It was a little bit of both. Okay, so and this is a touchy subject because there's people out there that love Trump. There's people out there that hate Trump. I voted for Trump. Now I'm not so sure about Trump. When this whole pandemic started, I mean, he followed every government official, to a T and what have you, lock the country down, do this, do that. Well, when you lock the country down, now you shorted the work staff. Okay. So now all these cargo ships that are trying to come into port have no one to unload them. Okay. All the truckers are there. They're ready to haul their load. However,
lined up too,
now they're running with a skeleton crew trying to load these trucks. Okay. So now that starts slowly building up to, a week, 2 weeks, a month, 3 months, 6 months, a year, till that, the supply chain, to get, I don't know, any goods anywhere. And, you had, I know DeSantis was like, well, send them down here. My state's fully open. We have workers and this and that. I don't know if they ever really did. But in my humble opinion, that was all by design. All this was by design. You shut the world down, you slow the world down, you will own nothing and be happy. Klaus Schwab. Okay. You will own nothing, be happy. Okay. Now, now we're seeing diesel rise. Diesel's so it's like the easiest to refine. Okay. It used to be the cheapest form of fuel. Well, now they've raised it to be more expensive than gasoline. Well, what gets your goods all around America and all around the world? Every plane, every train, and every big truck runs on diesel. Not only that, every piece of farm equipment runs on diesel. So now what used to take, we'll just use low numbers, $100 to, get a crop yield out of a field is now taking 1,000. Yeah. And now we're screwed. Okay. So now you're seeing all this inflation and this and that. And they're, oh, well, we came in and it's because of this. And it's because, no, you're just making excuses. This is all by design. Think about it. And
it's called in the past week,
left or right, will let a good crisis go to waste.
I like that.
The diesel price has gone up just the average over over the entire country, according to this, has gone up in the past week. It was 516 last week. It's 550 this week. And wasn't President Pudding Brain just up there bragging about how regular gas price was coming down? Like,
but it's not.
I noticed over by my house,
it's coming down from his high at the high point, but it's still not.
Yeah.
It's still not low where it was when he took office. And then you think about people in the Northeast and like North Midwest, like over towards probably Wisconsin. Once you get a little bit further, maybe not so much oil. But my house, heating oil. It took me $1,000 and I only got 3/4 of a tank of heating oil.
Oh my.
And I was just like, wow. Normally $500-600 fills it up.
I was gonna ask, like, I know, like, down here where I'm at, the gas station closest to the house, it's honestly down to $2.79. Like, no shit. Wow. But like, you just go up to the next town over and it's still over $3. Like, what's it looking like up there in your end of the country?
It all depends on where you go. And in some areas it's surprising me, kind of like how you said, you go a town over. In some towns where I think it would be higher, it's actually about 15 cents cheaper. Like today when I was driving around in certain areas, I was seeing gas at like $3.75 a gallon. Now right around here it's $3.99 to $4.29 a gallon. Jesus. Depending on where you go. And it's like, okay, you're not getting any different gas than what I'm getting over here. What's with the price inflation here?
When I was in Buffalo in like 2006, 2007, it was like almost $5 a gallon at the gas station I was working at there, and I was, that was major, like, price difference from down here. And like, I guess why it's so surprising to me is you're kind of right. Like, where I'm at now, I'm really far from the interstate, but the next town over actually totally has the interstate in that county, and they're more expensive. You'd figure the way the train works, it would be the other way. The ones that got to go further away the ones.
You nailed it right on the head.
Yeah.
The interstate.
Yeah.
So they get more traffic. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you raise your prices, you're going to make more money.
True.
Whereas if your prices are a little bit lower, your locals aren't going to travel that extra half hour to maybe get a little cheaper. We'll just keep it cheap. But when you're sitting along a major highway or anything like that, man, they'll price. They have no problem price raping you.
I live off
because they know they have the
route.
influx of, they have a huge influx. Okay, these guys need their diesel, they need their gas. Hey, they're going to pay because they're not going to get off this exit and drive a half hour, or in either direction for cheaper shit. They want easy on, easy off. Boom.
I live not far from like United States 19, like not like Georgia 19 or anything, but like US 19, which is just a lot of it's old back roads, but I've actually traveled it just for fun. It goes all the way from the ocean down in Florida all the way up to like Niagara Falls and stuff. Like, you can take 19 just about the entire way. And it gets on the interstate sometimes in that trek, but down here in the stretch that I'm at, it's definitely like the truck route to get in some of these untouched parts of Georgia. Like it in a sense runs parallel to Interstate 75, just like in a different direction of the state down the center where there's not any highway or whatever. And there's a lot of truck traffic. And it's funny that you mentioned that, because come to think of it, sure, the gas is $2.79, but I'm pretty sure the diesel price is like $5.50. Like, it's over the $5 mark. And that's just like, holy crap, man. Like, that, I couldn't imagine. I don't know. I feel like I'm paying out the ass already in my minivan with gas as it is. I couldn't imagine it having to be like that. It'd probably be parked, to be real with you. I don't make that much money anymore.
Same here. I'm lucky. I drive a company truck because, I was down to about quarter tank. I pulled across the street to get some fuel, and it was just under $300 for, I think, right around 50 gallons of diesel.
It would have been normally
but I'm not paying it.
right?
Wow.
What's that?
It would have been normally around about 100 for like 50 for that amount, right? But now it's up.
Yep. Yeah, it used to be like, I don't know, right around 329, somewhere in there. Like, now it's it's over the $6 mark here.
And it's
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. And we're sitting here having this gas talk, and I've got this young friend that I've had on a couple episodes, and Luis has helped him make some like good connections for his future and stuff. But 18 years old, he taught himself how to make what he it's not what he calls, but it's microwave pyrolysis. And he's down here in Georgia with me, and this young kid figured out how to turn his microwave building machine into the ability to make gas, diesel, and even figured out how to make natural gas out of it. And real smart kid, man. Like ridiculously smart. And I love watching him and stuff because he goes live with some of the stuff that he's been doing or whatever. And when he first tried the stuff out, like his plastiline, as he calls it, and got it to fire up on live, you could even see it on his face, as how excited he was that it worked and stuff like that. He's been showing me how he can refine it and stuff like that. And there's the like regular plastic trash, like plastic bottle trash, like that's what he can turn into gasoline. Computer chip plastic, he's turning into diesel. And he found out if he put food waste into this same machine, like organic, that it was producing natural gas. And so like he's got an amazing future. And the thing about it is that there are like high levels, even people in like the Davos group and stuff like that, the World Economic Forum or whatever, that are doing things like this. But when you start looking up the information that they have, they're at a standstill, they're at a crossroads. And like Julian's people are going to see what he's figured out himself and definitely be on board with it, and I think that's great because it's like a plastic cleanup kind of thing on top of.
I hope so.
Yeah, I mean, sure.
For his safety.
I'm going to antagonize Jay.
Yeah, I mean, you and KellKell both have been like that, but like that, there are like legitimate people like that or I mean, I shouldn't say legitimate, but like some of these evil people that we are always discussing that are actually working on this kind of stuff. Like they're
no. What I'm saying is this technology that he has. I mean, two people that came public with a hydrogen cell motor, aka running a car basically on water.
Yeah,
were gunned down. One was years ago.
Yeah,
and one was recently in Buffalo.
Correct.
You know what I mean? So like,
but like he figured out how to do it. He figured out how to do it with a microwave, and they already do it really on the regular with like really hot like cooker ovens, like you're like cold. You know what I'm saying? Like there's most of your junkyard or not junkyards, most of your waste dumps, like the waste management and stuff like that, where everything's mounted up and piled up like that. There is systems out there that convert that burn that trash in the same kind of system, but it's done with just high heat instead of a microwave, and electrify that entire place and keep it going off of the gas that it produces. There's one here in Atlanta, the DeKalb. It's the big, huge DeKalb like waste management place. This shit's as big as a county, bro. Like it's ridiculously huge, and the entire place is ran off of the electricity, off of the gas from all the trash. So I mean, there is like stuff like this in place. They just, believe it or not, they keep trying to knock the microwave idea off because they say that it's not efficient. Like in all the studies that he showed us and stuff like that, and the stuff that Luis has brought to our attention with it, is they're like, well, you're using more power to produce these microwaves than you're producing in the gas. That's why it's not efficient.
Yeah, but nobody questioned their expertise. Who not like every time it's supposed to be the supreme.
I know that's I mean these.
It's the opposite.
he
Uh,
he's studied that's what led him to start working with the microwave part, because he did study it, like all the documents out of he studied every document that exists on this subject, this paralysis, because the microwave part is where he added, and he was the guy that was like, no, I think we can make it work with a microwave.
oh yeah, I
and
mean, I
and
support him, Jay, and
he's been
I
trying
think
like crazy, man.
we need to protect
He's
our
got his
inventions.
patents and stuff pending. He got all the good paperwork back already with that. So
Let me
we're
say this
hopeful
one
for the
thing
kid.
on this topic, Jay. Right quick, right.
Well, absolutely.
We need to protect our inventors, right? And
Sure.
we don't, right? And let me tell you why. Because the government has motive. In a courtroom, when someone is shown to have motive, they are definitely on their investigation, right?
Sure.
But no one investigates the government. I mean, everybody's
Sure.
a know. Like when Stanley Myers, when Nikola Tesla with the free energy thing idea, it's been many more. Like William Cooper, Behold a Pale Horse,
And
Bill Cooper said.
yeah,
He
yeah,
said, like with the gasoline thing, we could have been they could have been made tires that don't bust. You know what I'm saying? They could have
sure.
been made tires that don't run out or gas. Because so
But
that's
they're
motive
not as
right
they're
there.
not efficient.
They not efficient, but we got people that can so called make rockets that could bend a corner and go hit its target. You know what I'm saying? You mean to tell me you can't find out how
But
to make
that's
it
I mean
efficient?
that's still running off of a fossil fuel technically, and that's what we've had this
Right.
conversation a lot. Like there was a choice way back
Mhm.
when in the 1800s. Humanity was basically given the choice to move forward with one or the other, and it proved way more efficient to use oil than it did to use the electric cars that were there.
And I ain't mean to be disagreeable, Jay, but I disagree. They didn't have a choice. The Rockefellers and all them now, they had oil, they had marijuana, or they had marijuana
I
oil
was
that
just
caused
going to
Yeah,
say
the
that hemp
yeah,
oil
oh
actually
yeah,
ran the first automobiles.
yeah. I
Hemp
mean, and
oil.
that's still another option for oil. But I'm saying, okay, everybody that screams electric, then I'm just going to point you to what the cobalt mines where you're getting your precious batteries from, that is
Oh
slave
yeah,
labor of children that's doing it.
right.
So,
That's a good
like,
point. Good point.
keep preaching the
and I'm
electric.
going to point out that the big dog in the room, or the elephant in the room, it's African slave labor,
Yeah, that's what they
and
say.
everybody wants to be like, oh, no, go look at these
Uh-huh.
kids. They're like
It's awful.
6 years old, carrying all this shit out and breathing in these fumes, and that's supposed to be healthy? No, fuck off. It's not. And
Right.
like you said, we used to run on hemp oil.
Yeah.
Then the
Mhm.
Rockefeller stepped in.
Yeah.
Okay, well now you have to have petroleum based, or quote unquote the
Yeah.
fake fossil fuels, which oil is continuously renewed
Mhm.
naturally,
Mhm.
always.
And
We will never run out of that.
and
And
go, Bill Cooper said that they shocked the economy, right? Not that these
Mhm,
like orange juice. Nothing changed. They just played with the numbers and made, you know what I'm saying, to get more money out of
mhm,
humanity.
Mhm.
You feel me?
yep,
And it's something wrong, bro. Like with the Tartaria World Trade, when they had the innovation period of the Tartarian society, they was like technically advanced like a mug, man. I mean, so what happened? Where's the what happened? Why how are we not how are we blocked out from I'm we're being pimped is what I'm really trying to say. We could
mhm.
have been moved away from oil, we could have been moved away from gas. They just pimping human, and I'm passionate about humanity, man, because I don't think it's fair for a small group of people, like with the money, with the fiat
Can you guys
currency.
hear me?
Yes.
My
You can
God,
print out
yes.
money and make anyone want and
Oh,
not sell
I
people
got it
out,
figured
right?
out now.
Okay.
Sorry,
I'm
Kel.
sorry.
No, we were excited. Bandit finally got logged back into
I
where
got
he
it figured
needed to
out
be.
now.
Or
I'm back.
Cool.
So what
Hey,
was
Kel,
it?
I'm sorry, man. I've been
Oh,
fighting this computer for like 2 days trying to
yes,
get this
sir.
set up, man.
I want to hear what you got to say though, bro, because you be saying some good things, man. So what do you think about the topic, man, so far? Anything you want to comment on, like anything Go said in it?
Uh, no,
JB.
man. The one thing that I really just I'm glad somebody said that I had recently just found out was that anybody outside of like, and I hate using the term like conspiracy theorist,
really do. But I was schooled on the term like fossil fuels and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And to hear somebody else finally mention that, our crude oil supply is regenerated like naturally and that will never run out was an idea that was suppressed a long time ago. Like a long time ago. It was all, everything, they wanted everything like made from petroleum-based products. Everything was petroleum-based products, man. And like everything like natural was viewed as like
Harmful.
just like it's just crazy talk. You can't do everything natural. Everything all of our medication is petroleum based. All of our clothing is petroleum based. That goes into microplastics now.
Yeah,
Everything plastic, everything microplastics. Kids are born now with plastic in the bloodstream, in the lungs. Everything petroleum based, man. Had to be.
Yeah, well, I'm not. I guess I'm not trying to come off and say that it's got to be petroleum based or whatever for gas, but like 'cause, you guys made mention of the hemp oil earlier, and I'm a very big advocate for that because a lot of the first engines were run off of hemp oils and hemp gasolines and stuff like that. In fact, that's where they got the idea for this corn ethanol bullshit that they put in cars now that's destroying them, was from the hemp ethanol. And that's where my argument of we'll never get rid of gas. More
never.
So
it's never going away.
Never.
More so
Ever.
though, we need to start leaning towards that hemp idea of it though, because farmers are always going to need gas for what they got going on. Truck drivers are always going to need gas for what they got going on, because I'm sorry that Tesla whatever truck, or I don't know what they got now, but I've seen some ideas for electric trucks for driving across the country and having to stop Casey every 100 miles.
They did a test run for like the Ford F-150, the EV pickup truck, and they were towing a Mustang on a trailer, and they drove it 1,200 miles, and the pickup truck had to stop and fully charge every 100 miles. And that goes into, they did a study, like if you take 50 gallons of diesel fuel and put that in a 1-ton Dodge Ram truck, you will get more from it than if you put that 50 gallons of diesel in a generator to charge an electric vehicle.
And don't get me wrong, I think some things like those electric bikes and electric scooters, not the ones that the government has or those big companies have that leave them all over state because those are garbage, but I dig some of those things.
It has applications. It has applications. It has small applications like wind power, wind generation, solar generation, stuff like that. Have small applications. Like if you are an off-grid home, putting up some solar panels, putting up a wind turbine, stuff like that.
Water turbine is always my idea to lean to.
That has small applications. You cannot power an entire community or an entire state or an entire nation on renewable energy. You cannot do it. It is impossible. The wind will stop blowing and the sun will stop shining. That's simple facts. And like with the wind turbines, you will never get the same amount of energy out of it as it took to build one.
Now,
never.
Now, I guess with all this talk about energy and talk about the moving things
nuclear
back and forth. Well,
nuclear.
Not even. I heard you say something about a little bit earlier, Ghost, and I don't know. I guess as somebody that's also delivered, I guess, for a living. How about them train strikes and all that nonsense?
Yeah. And that
I
goes
didn't hear
right
about the
back
train
to,
strikes, guys. You got to put me up on that. Brief me on train strikes.
oh yeah, the whole entire railroad wants to go on strike, all because they just want paid time off. You know, instead of having to lose your hours to make a doctor's appointment, because a lot of them work ridiculous hours. You know what I mean? Okay, let me burn some paid time off, like some sick leave to go to the doctor so I can, get a checkup, or maybe I need an antibiotic.
No.
I'm not sitting here promoting going to the doctor or whatever, but do your own thing. But that's what they're fighting for. And Joe Biden comes out and his first thing is, oh, we have to get these railroads back moving because we need these chemicals to put in our water and this and that and our water supply. And it's like, whoa, pump the brakes there, retarded pudding eater.
The cabbage in chief.
Cabbage in chief.
Yeah, the cabbage in chief. And I mean, you shut down trains, the next thing that's going to come is tractor trailers.
That's right.
And it's all by design. And it goes back to your original question, Kel, of why the shipping containers were sitting off the shores. Okay, well, the workers weren't there. The truckers were, but the workers weren't. Okay, and all those ships are sitting there burning all that diesel, just staying afloat. They might have turned them off, who knows? But if they can't come to port, well, then they can't get unloaded. Now they're coming to port, they're getting unloaded. Now what happened? Oh, now the railroad wants to strike. Now the truckers are up in arms because fuels and DEF is in shortages in many states. And when all that happens, your supply chain breaks. And next thing you know, you're going to be walking into your store on a Monday, and by Wednesday, everything's done. It's gone. Every store has a 3-day supply, and you're screwed.
We are 9 meals away from total just like uprising. That's what they say. It's 9 meals away from people taking to the streets.
I think they've been trying to get it to go there too for you.
I have my thoughts on that.
What do you think,
I don't think we are there yet. We are getting there. The powers that be, whoever they may be, don't quite want what you think they want. They don't quite want people to take up arms in the street yet. It's the slow game for them. They're gonna bleed us dry one drop at a time because they're in for the long run. They don't want people to go to the streets just yet. It's not quite there yet.
You know what pisses them off the most, though, Kel, is the fact that there's 3 white dudes and 1 African American sitting here having a conversation, united as one.
Exactly. We are not divided.
As long as we're divided, it doesn't matter if you're black and white, or if you're Chinese, Asian and white, or Hispanic and white. As long as they divide us by color, because apparently that's all they see. They don't see content of character. As long as we're divided,
love, humanity, and
they're winning. They're winning. I had more black friends in the military and had more fun with them and my Hispanic friends than I did most of my white friends.
We were all
tell you right now,
we were
I will
all
go to
pieces of shit.
Yes. Every barbecue I went to that was of my black friends.
And another man.
You are right.
They there for me, bro. You hear me?
In the military, you were all
that I was
invited
to by my black friends, dude, I ate like a fucking king. A king. I never had fried catfish before. Fried it. Oh my God. And the list goes on. I looked at my wife, I'd love to have good collard greens. And I looked at her, I said, I'm not going to eat collard greens unless I see a large black woman in the kitchen cooking them, because I know I'm going to get good collard greens, because she's cooking with her soul, she's cooking with her heart, and she's putting her love into it.
That's why it's called soul. That's why it's called soul food.
White people cannot cook collard greens. I'm going to put that out there right now. White people cannot cook collard greens.
Hey, Man, I don't
They're not
know,
gonna be
man.
successful. They're not gonna
I
be
don't know.
successful just because of that one point you made, Ghost. For numerous reasons like herb, music, and food, and it's a remnant of humanity that is enough to keep the divided, to keep it completely divide from happening. They can never break us apart. Now they
But
go
see, the thing
on
is,
the
it's it
surface. I'm sorry.
it comes more. It becomes more than just like a divide on when you get into it. It becomes more of a divide than skin color. Now, they will divide you on religion. They will divide you on sexuality. They will divide you on skin color, political beliefs. Believe it or not, if the nation could come together based on just political beliefs, they would see that, left and right are just one party out to screw the common person.
Two wings, one fucking bird.
One dumb bird, man. That's exactly it.
But the sheeple ain't going. The sheeple is the one that's the problem now.
But see, I have good hope because of things like here recently, what's been going on over in North Carolina. I don't know if you guys have seen that, but me and Bandit got some theories. There's been power outages over the last few days going on over in North Carolina, and there's some backstory to this that they're not really tying it together, I guess, publicly, but like, so there was about to be, from what I was told, there was about to be originally it was announced all ages drag show in this town, and the town was actually given some pushback, and they chose some little bumfuck town, not even like a big town or something, but like some little bumfuck town. And the town was given some pushback and was like, at least make it like age appropriate, and it just didn't really seem to be going the way that it needed to be. And now all of a sudden all the power was out over there, and it seems to they're accusing people that seem to have had the against the thing, because there seems to be some bullet holes and possibly a homemade EMP set off and all kinds of neat things.
That's asymmetric warfare right there.
That's people. That's the fuck around and as you put it. That's the fuck around and find out boys that finally decided to. They were sick of the shit that was going on. They
just got tired
of it. Around and they found out.
Yeah, they just found out. And I mean that's just the start, man.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if you take like the amount of GWAT vets that are disgruntled and despise every form of government and just want to be left alone, I mean, it really is a terrifying thought that these guys are just like, well, I think I've had enough,
Yeah, I mean,
that's what it comes down to.
I've always been the guy for a long time that said there's still that silent majority, where there's still a silent majority out there that you don't hear from. And honestly, the only difference between, like, with all the COVID stuff, the only difference between like us and Australia and Europe and even China for that matter is, like you said, they're not ready for us to take to the streets and guns. We have there's more registered, and I make sure that's emphasized. There's more registered.
There's more unregistered.
Yes, I mean, but I'm saying there's like more registered guns than there's some towns out there in Kentucky probably alone that could start a small army without even trying.
the Knob Creek gun shoot, the machine gun shoot over at Knob Creek, they use that as war zone footage for Ukraine invasion. As much of a and Luis isn't here to defend it, but as much as a pain in the ass state it is for New York to have weapons, as someone who has seen a lot of upstate New York and what they call the southern tier, when you're starting to get close down there to Pennsylvania, there's out there in the country, it's just like you would think it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not trying to out anybody, but it's just like you would think it is. Like there's a lot of the same country folk in that end of the state that there is down here in my end of the state. So,
oh yeah, absolutely.
And they're definitely those kind of people. I consider those, fuck around and find out. And a lot of us just want to get up every day and, sure, I'm not thrilled about my job, but at least it pays the bills and I can take care of my kids and stuff
You
like
just
that.
want left
And
alone.
just want to live my life
Yeah.
out, to do what I'm doing, hang out with my
Everything
kids,
they
do my
practice.
work. But no, we got to just start.
I'm retired and I want to be left alone. How difficult is that for them to understand? You know, I don't want to be bombarded with all this crap all day. You know, I just want to be left alone with my chickens and my garden.
Mhm. And they're making it hard to do that,
Oh,
Bandit.
they're making it hard, dude. You have no idea, man.
I mean, you can't get off the grid if you got solar panels. If you can't collect rainwater, they're trying to make that illegal, and
Yeah.
something so.
See, no, there is a few states out there that still hold strong with like homesteading rules. Like they will give you, if you label yourself as a homesteader and buy raw property,
Missouri.
Yes, Missouri, Arkansas, and there's like 2 or 3 other states where you can do stuff like that.
Please tell me Kentucky's one, because I've been looking at property there.
Don't come to Kentucky right now.
Virginia.
Not right now.
West Virginia.
That's where I'm at right now.
Okay. So, okay. Next that idea.
Southeastern Kentucky and Eastern Kentucky. I'm on the border, like I'm in the foothills of Appalachia right now.
Mm-hmm.
The farther east you go, that's just, leave it alone country. That's still decent out there, but Western Kentucky and Central Kentucky are no bueno, and that's no bueno. But the closer you get,
I've been looking at states that have good taxes, good.
Yeah. You're looking
not
at
just
a good
taxes,
spot.
But like the conform
Prices.
to, well, not conform, but like go with my way of thinking and what have you. And I'm not saying I'm moving tomorrow, but I have a 5-year plan, and I would like to.
I do too.
Love to get out of Pennsylvania. I was put here by force by my parents. I was born in Wyoming, grew up in Idaho till I was 10, and then came out to this retarded state. Thank you, John Fetterman.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, Pennsylvania in and of itself is a beautiful state. There are good people out here.
Yeah.
But I do not like the politics. I do not like the taxes. I don't like the fact that even though I live in a little bumfuck little town that has no red light, I still can't just go somewhere and hike or forage for food. You know what I mean? I have to do it on. There's too many. I just want a little bit of freedom. You know what I mean? I don't necessarily. Now, my wife did toss around the hey, let's move off grid somewhere, and that took me by surprise because I never thought she would say that. I'm down for it, but there's other things you have to think of. When you go down that route, you know what I mean. You do have to still pay property tax, and how do you supplement that income? Okay, whatever. Maybe by then my podcast will be enough to get us by. Who knows? I don't, but that's just a thought. But I just want to move further from the East Coast as I can, or to the south on the East Coast in a more friendly type of state.
I talk about out here a lot, Ghost, like why I ended up down here, because the further away you get from Atlanta, the lot more lax things start becoming. You start running into one horse towns like you're talking about with just one red light, if maybe, and literally have 2 cops during the day shift and 1 cop for the night shift. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's it for that entire county. I mean, yeah, I know some places like that in Pennsylvania. Actually, I've sidetracked real quick.
In a few places like that.
Sidetrack real quick. There was this awesome place that I went through one time that I've always wanted to go back to, and I went through it on my 19 travel from New York to Georgia. Pancake, Pennsylvania. It was a tiny little mountain town.
What was it?
Pancake, Pennsylvania.
Let me look that up.
It was just a tiny little mountain town, like definitely up there in the mountains. And like, it was just, I don't know, it was cool. And I like being there. And I'll never forget that place for sure. But like, there's just Georgia itself. There's a lot of places that the property taxes are real low. I know quite a few places that you're paying under $1,000 a year for some property taxes, altogether, and it makes it seem feasible. And we're pretty much left alone out here. It depends county to county, really. The further south you get, the better it gets. But to make mention, Bandit, you were trying to say a few minutes ago, some of those states that have good homestead laws and stuff. West Virginia, and Arizona.
I'm not going to Arizona, and you know why. Well, the land.
Are you afraid of javelinas?
What's that?
Are you scared of the javelinas?
Oh no!
No,
he
might pop somebody in the mouth.
Yeah. Arizona also, it has everything to do with like the land in Arizona is not good for like crops. Missouri and Arkansas have good land. Kentucky has good land for growing. They have decent growing seasons. What the whole thing is, it's like Missouri, when you get like Missouri and Arkansas are real strong for homesteading. You can grow, you can have a well on a property. You don't have to be connected to city sewer, city electric, nothing like that. You can just like plop in the middle of like 50 acres of raw land, and that's it. And if you do connect back to city electric, if you have solar, wind, you can actually sell back unused electricity to the grid. You can you're free. I use that term very liberal. Like you're free to get as close to like off grid as possible in those states. Is how I should say it,
And I guess we were talking about, there is no, I heard Kel mention it, and hopefully he'll pop back in here in a minute. His phone probably died, but there's some people out there that can't just disappear like that. I'll truly disagree. Like as someone who lives near some national forests and who has traveled a lot in the mountains, I promise you there are feral people out there that have not seen or heard about a president or anything like that since they were born.
Do you remember our canoe trip?
Yep. Me and Bandit took
on the riverbank that bordered the national parks.
That's right.
You heard a banjo playing, didn't you?
I took
it would have been close.
This man,
shit you not, man.
This man drove like seven hours and some change to come see me, and I put him in a canoe and took him on like an 8-hour canoe ride down like 8-9 miles of canoe in the blazing hot summer of Georgia.
And up and down the banks, there you would see areas where people had come from the national park. People had come out and down the shore and built a little camp on the shoreline and then disappeared back up into the woods.
Mm-hmm. And I was like, I'm 100% positive that out here in this 3,000 plus acres of protected national forest, there's probably a handful of people out there wandering around. You know what I'm saying? Like it's almost like, we were making mention of it before in another episode, but like a deer will hear something, crack and take off running. If you live it out in the woods like that, you're going to become attuned to that area. You know what I mean? Like if you hear something out of place coming, you're going to be long gone before anybody sees you. You know what I mean? Like I truly believe that there's feral people. Yeah, that too. But I truly believe there is some feral people out there, and that's where I always make the joke. I'm like, seriously, if it does turn into a situation where they're, blazing the sirens and saying they're about to start coming door to door or something like that, sure, I've got a place that I've discussed and mapped out years ago that I'll vanish and you'll never find me because it's just as feral as that, and it's by the river, and Georgia's a very big place. Like, good luck finding me.
Right quick, I hate my son. I'm feeding him. My phone died. And it's
You're okay, sir?
Yeah, my phone did die, JB. I don't know what. This is the wrong one. It's going in the trash because it betrayed me.
Dude, we completely understand, man. I'm sure you've been able to hear my kids in the background.
Somebody gave
Every
me
now and again, I don't know if you can pick up my kids. I have 3 dogs, and
cool.
And
Oh,
speaking of
our
that,
kids are actually they're grown, and my daughter's in college, and my stepson he lives out on his own, and so yeah, and the third dog is my stepson's puppy that he thought he could handle, but she's a little pity mix with a neurological disorder, and mom, dad, can you train her? Yeah, we'll train her. We trained her for like 2 weeks, sent her back, and all shit hit the fan. And now I'm pretty sure she's our dog now. She's part of the pack.
man.
Cool.
But speaking of
You
that,
can never have enough dogs.
speaking of kids, and I know we're kind of getting, towards the end, but it'd be, the conversation we've been on right now. Speaking of kids, are we teaching our kids what we're supposed to be teaching them outside of like school? Getting into that whole.
I'm in charge of school, so
yeah, getting into that whole homestead thing. I mean, I would have no issues like if I had to like uprooting my family right now and moving out into the middle of the woods right now. My kids would be set for that. They know how to raise animals. They know how to skin animals. They know how to can food. They know how. I mean, it's just they have mechanical intuition. I mean, and I think society now is failing that aspect of a children's
100%.
upbringing right now. I mean, kids aren't learning how to work on their own vehicles. They're not learning, they're not going out into the garage. How to write
a check or balance a checkbook.
Right?
You got
I mean,
don't know how to change a tire.
Right.
Yeah.
I was just about to,
oh my God, the power went out in the house. What's a breaker box?
Yeah.
Simple shit.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm gonna have to go ahead and go because
I understand, Kel.
My dad is 6.
Oh man, did I just lose internet?
We gotta bathe him, gotta feed him,
you're still here.
And he's being needy. All right, man. But I love you guys, man.
You understand that, Kel?
Yeah, it's nice meeting you, Kel. If you're on Instagram, hit me up. I'd love to have more open conversations because we barely scratched the surface, and I think we're both two like-minded individuals that connect very well.
Absolutely, boy. Hey, and thanks for that. Thanks for that, Raymond. You and JB. I'm waiting on to see what Susan say too. But thanks for that because I'm gonna implement that ASAP. Because I don't like the petroleum bandit. I don't want to deal with.
Oh, dude, I feel that pain, man.
It's hard because they try to box me in.
I will tell you, I will give you a heads up. The drink is very bitter. However, once you get used to it, it'll work. I drink 8 to 12 ounces every morning, and that's all you need. Get up, and I drink coffee too. But in the morning, man, I
drink a gallon of
it. There you go.
I love you guys, JB, and keep me
always a pleasure, Kel. Always a pleasure.
I would like to see Ghost again, JB, definitely.
Oh yeah, I'll get you guys hooked up.
Okay, cool.
You have a great night, KellKell. I appreciate you coming on this evening.
Yes, sir, brother. Love you, and thank you so much for letting me be on. Okay.
Yes, sir. We'll talk to you soon.
Yes, sir. Bye-bye.
Of course, you guys.
Come on, look at your phone now.
If you check,
come on.
Of course, you guys, if you check over there on the host section, you can get back and find KellKell on his YouTube channel, his Instagram channel, and I guess I got to update his TikTok channel since they informed me that his TikTok got omitted too. I try to make sure
they're hitting everybody.
I try to make sure that we got ways to get back to all of us when it comes to these kind of things too. So you guys are free to check that out. So, Ghost, we don't. Sometimes folks drop out, man. We'll probably be getting close to a wrap up point here soon, but I have been having a fantastic conversation.
Yeah.
It's been
now that I'm like I said, I was excited to come back to come on. I felt so bad. I do want to say one thing. With your little TV screen, I don't know if you've noticed, but both dials are pointed to 5.
Yep.
Yes.
Are you familiar with the 5.5? with
No.
military terms?
I'm not familiar with that. I don't think.
5-5 is communication captured and completely understood.
5x5.
Yeah, 5x5.
Yeah, they are, aren't they? I see that now. I'm zooming it in.
Kind of way.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh, one's pointed at 12 and the other's 5, and I'm like, no,
that's 5x5.
Yeah, yep. 5x5. I thought it was neat because shoot, a lot of people don't even know what a TV like this would even look like anymore, man. Like
you had to change.
Dude, I'm 5 years away from 50.
I'll be 42, and I'll be 42 in March.
That's the answer to the universal question.
Yeah, I feel that. I feel that age creeping, man.
37 in 10 days. So.
Man, I feel that. I feel that age
back
creeping.
In my 30s.
So, speaking of that,
maybe it depends on how many refrigerators you had to move through your 20s through your early 30s if you want to be here.
I heard the greatest some explanation of what it feels like to get old, and what it's like to get old and older. You'll get up in the morning and you'll be like, man, I don't remember playing football yesterday. I don't remember getting tackled by a lineman yesterday. What is it? And you just go throughout your day and you're like, man, I'm still sore. Why am I still sore? I don't remember doing anything physical yesterday. And then you'll go home and you'll look in the mirror and go, okay, that's right. I'm old. And that is no joke, man.
Rice Krispies treats or the cereal, and now they're kicking in, and all you hear is snap, crackle, pop.
Snap, crackle, pop, man. That's it.
Yeah, and I know you guys are a little ahead of me on the age wise, but I wasn't very nice to myself a lot of the time, and I did spend quite a few years dragging refrigerators that weigh double my weight upstairs because Bandit has got to the pleasure of meeting me in real life, and I'm not that large of a fellow, and I'm carrying around 300 to 500 pound refrigerators like it's nothing, and people are like, how? And I'm just like, you get center of gravity, bro. These little tiny dudes can get underneath.
No. You're right. You're right.
I'm gonna guess, Bob, JB, you're what, 5'8", maybe one? No, shorter. Oh, you're like 5'5".
Yeah.
When I take my boots off, yeah, we can probably say that. But I'm always in cowboy boots.
5'5", maybe what, 138,
140, probably
145, 150. About is where I stay.
Yeah.
Stay sitting.
Yeah. Carrying a refrigerator. Holy shit. I'm sick. I'm just under 6'5", 250 pounds, and I don't want to carry a fucking refrigerator.
Nah, man. Hey, I delivered vending machines and product for Coca-Cola for a few years when I drove truck. I'm not. It's no joke on the body.
No.
Nope.
Yeah, and it's slowed down some. When I was younger, it was a lot more apartments and like townhomes and stuff like that. I worked for a larger company, but now I'm with like a small level thing. So I might only have 2 refrigerators a day, but it's still, but
it's 2 refrigerators more than what you should be.
Yeah, and there's
2 is 4 actually, because you always got to take one out of each house. So
and that is true. Don't discount yourself for that. There is nothing wrong with manual labor.
Yeah, I'd rather work manual labor, to be honest. I've tried other things. Yeah. I've been the boss in places and stuff like that, and I'm good.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Like, I'd rather be out and about, seeing town, and going and finding a new adventure and challenging my brain and my hands and all that good kind of stuff all in a day.
Well, people that discount people that do manual labor for a living, they obviously forgot how their house was built, how all of their stuff was put together and delivered, how their food is gathered. They
I get that when I go into a residential area that has already been up and people are getting their roofs redone. Okay.
Yeah.
And I pull in with my boom truck and I got shingles on it. I'm gonna boom them up to the roof, and they're like, "You're blocking the road and da 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 and this and that." I'm like, you do realize this is exactly how your house got built just 2 years ago, right? The siding came, the shingles came, the windows came, the doors came, all your appliances, your counters, all came the same way. But because it's not you right now, I'm interrupting your so important time. Get the fuck out of here with that shit.
Yeah.
It's like, dumb NPCs.
Yep. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. No, it I don't know, man. Like you slow down on a lot of it. I think. Like I used to be a little quicker and on the hey dumbass, but now it's more of like a look at this walnut, guys. You know what I'm saying? Like I like to point and
Bless your
laugh and
heart.
get everybody else to point and laugh with me. You know what I'm saying? don't
Yes,
know.
sir.
That's exactly it, man. Bless your heart.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I mean,
I'm
I still have my times. Don't get me wrong. Like there's times when the zen needs to quit and the ass kicking begins, or at least just that quick little quip to come back with. Because sure, I run into stuff like that too. Maybe not only delivering appliances, just in regular everyday life. Like we were talking about this earlier, me and my wife actually, about how I don't think enough people have gotten clipped on their on the chin in this lifetime.
No.
Because they've been able to hide behind the internet. Like
what did Mike Tyson say? What was this quote by Mike Tyson? Social media has made people too comfortable without getting punched in the face.
Hell, I had my first concussion in 8th grade, all because I made fun of a dude's haircut that apparently he had a stronger friend that was, I don't know, a few grades ahead of us. And they're like, I'll never forget it. I had a broken foot. I was in a cast. This friend at the time, he's dead now. He got into heroin, but knocked on my door and he's like, "Hey, your girlfriend wants to meet you down at the pizza shop." You know, we had a middle school dance or whatever. I was like, "All right," you know, and I start walking down the sidewalk with him, and then out of the bushes, these high school kids, football players, snatch me up, and they put my arms behind my back, and they're like, "You think my haircut looks like a at the time a fag or a girl?" And I'm like, yeah, I do. Well, he has the same haircut and you're making fun of him too. I'm like, well, it's dumb, and I probably said more choice words at the time. And he's like, "Oh, so you're calling me this too?" And I'm like, "I guess so." And my head's sitting there. I'm like, "Ooh," I'm hearing like video games at the time. I'm like, "Ooh, okay." And he's like, "Do you still think my haircut looks like so gay or like a girl?" And I'm like, "Yes, I do. You look stupid." Wham, wham, wham. I'm like, my bell's rung. I'm like, "Oh, shit." And all of a sudden now, the neighbor lights are going on or whatever. So they kind of like throw me down on the ground. They skedaddle. I'm picking myself up. I'm like, holy fuck. I just got the shit kicked out of me. And, it wasn't until years later, I'm like, that was my first concussion, all because of my mouth, all because of my freedom of speech. And I was like, but I never changed character. It was just like, yeah, if you're dumb, I'm going to call you dumb. If you look stupid, if that hurts your feelings, whatever. If you're going to ring my bell because I called you that, okay. Well, luckily at the time there was more of them than there were me, because I can't clone myself. But yeah, I got my bell fucking rung, and I'm just like, I remember, getting up and stumbling back to the house. I was all dizzy and shit, and my parents looked at me. They're like, "Oh, you're back already?" I'm like, yeah. And I just went up and laid in my bed, and I was just like, I felt high as a fucking kite. I was just like, wee, this is fun. Well, I went to sleep, and well, thankfully I didn't die, because they say if you get a concussion, don't fall asleep, you'll die. Yeah. Well, thank God I didn't. But I got my bell rung, and I think more, like you said, more kids need to hear that. I was running my mouth. Did I get my bell rung? Yes. But at the same time, if there wasn't 4 or 5 of them, I would have fought back if my hands weren't tied behind my back.
Right.
But I still talk shit till the time I dropped to the ground. Nice. I'm still
speaking
the same shit that I'm going to tell you right now.
You know,
what I mean?
and
It's just like,
there's nothing wrong with that. I've always been a firm believer of, hey, if you got the right to run that mouth, especially when you can back it up. And of course, in a situation where you're talking there, that's an unfair situation and such, like some getting teamed up on and stuff like that. But I mean, I guess in general, I guess more is what I was alluding at. Like, when we were in high school, we all probably seen that kind of shit where you probably got guys seen it probably even in the military or something, but somebody just said the wrong stupid ass shit, like just completely stupid. And then, I mean, just got the shit decked out of them because, yeah, they had it coming, and it's, I don't know. There was a different time then because I guess people kind of understood. Yeah, somebody might knock your block off, bro. Maybe think about it for a second, or because there are times where somebody deserves to be called an outright idiot for the things that they're doing and be called out on it. Like that's 100%. I don't think there's enough of that. Like politicians and their nonsense, like they let's watch what we say, or even celebrities and their nonsense. Let's watch what we say because we don't want to offend somebody. And it's just like, no, maybe they needed offending. Like sometimes those truthful, offensive words get to the point.
some people need their feelings hurt.
Yes, that is absolutely true. And I don't think there's enough people, honestly, anymore that get their feelings hurt like that because they all play victim if you just look at them wrong or make fun of them. I hate to drag this guy a little bit, but I'm going to give him a hard time. He was a guest on the show and he brought up something super interesting. And because Luis questioned his perspective, he wasn't really questioning his perspective. He was just questioning what he was telling, from Luis's perspective. And dude got super mad and called me after the show and straight up told me that if Luis was on the show, he couldn't come back because his wife said so. Because Luis was rude to him by questioning his experience. And I was like,
we're done recording. Can you tell me who this is?
I will. I was like, I can't believe this guy did this. Like, dude, if you bring up something in here and it's what you believe in, then stand your ground about it, man. Don't throw a fit and be like, I don't like when people disagree with me. Like, no, we ain't about that, bro. Like,
I think I might have a strong idea who this might be.
it was just interesting. Like, I don't think I'd experienced that before until that happened, and was just like, wow, like that's and I get it.
Like my wife's supportive of my podcast, but she would never tell me, you can't go on there if so and so's on there, because at the end of the day, my wife does not listen to podcasts, and she does not listen to mine. Would I like her to? Yes. Will she?
Oh, mine does.
No, because
mine
I think it'll just her mind and what have you, and whatever. But it's like, wow, no, babe. Am I allowed to go on this podcast because he challenged my thinking? No, I'm not allowed. No. Oh, okay. All right. Thank you. No, fuck off.
Yeah, right. Like it's I like having challenging thinking, and I've since I've started this, I've had some interesting conversations. I've had some people that got bent out of shape for misunderstanding each other. I've had some people get bent out of shape because they didn't believe in anything except for one thing, and they started yelling at Luis because of it. It's always Luis, poor Luis. And then even way back to dude, like I think I was 3 episodes in, and some dude called me a colonizer like 27 times in the episode, and like, I took it. I took it for what it was. I was just like, whatever, man. Like, keep on. And
I didn't colonize shit.
You're right, and that was funny because actually, when I brought him back down the line in another episode, he went to start throwing that around again and didn't realize he was going to be surrounded by people that were like, whoa, Jim Bob ain't no colonizer. Like, you need to chill out, man. Like, it's interesting. You definitely meet some interesting people. Yeah, you can't say you can say that.
If you're going to send out to start a podcast or be somebody that makes the rounds as a guest on podcasts, you have to go into it with open mind. Absolutely. Open mind. You know what I mean? I don't care. I've talked to an ex-satanic high wizard. Okay. Do I agree with his exit into Catholicism? No, but I let him tell his story. I've talked to people that, most recently brought a brand new spin on the JFK assassination, and it was all done by the Khazarians. And when I say Khazarians, I mean the modern day Jew, and that will get a lot of heat, but the modern day Jew is not the Jew of the original 12 tribes of Israel.
Correct.
And I think that's where Kanye is getting a lot of heat, is he's finding this out, but he can't articulate it in the manner that he needs to.
This is
actually, I love Hitler. I love everybody. I get that. I do. And I see where he's coming from. He's like, I love everybody. It's not for me to judge them. Okay, I get that. Start looking at articulating your words.
The media will
a little
spin
bit
it
better.
too.
Yes, so it doesn't get spun in a certain direction. Now, have I, in this little monologue right here, said things that people could clip and say, oh my God, Ghost is an anti-Semite, he's racist, this and that? Yes, because that's what everybody wants. They want that little, 10, 15 to 20-second little clip of this, a clip of that, a clip of this, a clip of that. You start pulling clips, you can demonize anybody.
Absolutely.
But if you listen to a full conversation or the whole conversation, within segments, you're going to get a completely different view of where somebody comes from. And it all goes back to go into it with an open mind, put your beliefs aside, put your thoughts aside. Now, can you interject them? Absolutely, you can. And at the end of the day, you will find out more often than not, you have more in common with a guest or someone that you're talking to than you have disagreements with.
Absolutely.
And it's a beautiful thing. You know what I mean? I can't say it any simpler, but just people need to, I love to rant right with the neck, with the best of them, but sometimes you just got to let
everything deserves a good rant every
sometimes.
now and then.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes, I'm not going to give that topic any energy on a rant. I'm just not.
People
going to
have
die out
become
before I
too
even
close.
speak.
People have become too close-minded now.
I think so.
They have such a narrow scope of reality, and they've just shut off to like everything, all possibilities. They only want their possibility and their narrow view of things. Anything outside of that is, you're a fascist, you're a Nazi, you're a racist, you're a bigot, you're everything. You know what I mean?
And
yeah.
And Ghost, you to your point of some things you were talking about, we've actually divulged into some interesting topics dealing around that situation, like prior to all of that happening and such. But there's an episode that I've got that it's episode 82 of our show, and I had a fellow named Michael Hall on here, and we divulged into all this history that goes back all the way to when the Spanish were chasing the Marranos out, the ones that were secret Jews or whatever. And they went on to the Ottoman Empire to become the Sabbatians, who later became the Frankists, who later became the Jesuits, who later became, kind of whatever I guess the hell is going on now with these people that practice inversion and hide under the color of Judaism so that they can intentionally be like, oh, that's anti-Semitism because you're attacking our culture. And it's like, no, you're not even actually Jewish, bro. Like you're one of those secret Jews that is totally practicing the cabal while, and like mysticism and stuff against all the stuff that they said is, you're supposed to do and how you're supposed to do it and stuff. Like you're right. They're not the tribe, one of the original tribes that existed back then. So like there
was never, ever in history a white Jew until modern times.
That's
I
a fact.
hate to say that.
I mean,
You can call me whatever. It's a proven fact. The original Jews came out of Africa. They came out of Egypt. That they were not melanin deficient by any means. And the Jews that you see today, they're not Jews. They're Khazarians.
Yes.
And the Khazarian mafia runs the fucking world.
And has, weirdly enough, for a long time, even while the Ottoman Empire was still standing. Like people don't understand that when you start chasing these roots, these lines, these rabbit holes, and you start actually finding where they all tie together, because it takes plenty of years. You've probably been on this venture as long as I, probably as long as I have, maybe longer. I've been a tinfoil hat wearer since the late 90s, and it because something just clicked when I was sitting in like school one day, and I was just like, wait a minute, what they're teaching us about this isn't right, and stuff like that. Just different things. And it's just like, why are why are we not, I guess, more to a point of seeing a lot of these things? I know there are a lot more people that are, don't get me wrong, like going from earning the title of Captain Conspiracy because people were trying to make fun of me, to it being literally looked at in a larger scale as a badge of honor. I don't know, in a way it was kind of vilifying, I guess, if you could say, because it was just like, all those times you told me I was crazy, we're like 37-0 to conspiracy theorists now, so go away. Like,
that's because we're conspiracy
I'm still always
realists
out there trying to press that good information and stuff, and dig for that good information without black clouding.
Conspiracy oracles. Conspiracy oracles.
I like that.
That too.
Like, I don't like
put
to
me up at Delphi, because there was a lot of chemicals spewing out of that volcano. They got high.
Because there's, and it's good to like know about stuff, and I've brought this up a bunch throughout every episode, I think, but it's it's always good to know about stuff, but there's no reason to point and scream at the black cloud every single day. You know what I'm saying? Like we sure we know there's people like that nut job Klaus that wants everybody to eat bugs, but rumor has it dude had a fucking heart attack, possibly 2 of them. So bye.
Was he jabbed?
We could only hope. That dude didn't take the jab. There's no way.
No. But it is
no way he took it.
Google's doing a really good job of scrubbing it, but rumor is that he had a heart attack. They got him to the hospital. He had a second heart attack.
One could only hope. Christmas could come early this year, but
but we don't worry about those fools.
We don't, because I always like to say it's like, it's all his power, all their power is perceived power. It's like the boogeyman. We know he exists. We know he's there. Why you got to talk about it every day? Because the more you talk about him and the more you bring him up to people online, the more people are going to dive into it and look at him. And the more you keep talking about it, you actually feed him. You actually give him power by talking about it that much, It is what it is, though.
Very true. You give these... these elite scumbags or just pieces of shit that want to run the world. The more you talk about it or them, all you're doing is adding air or gas or a flame.
You're feeding into it. You're feeding into it.
As someone who believes that you can speak your reality into existence through, the more that people, that and I'm saying that even they know this too. Like I'm gonna tell you right now, Klaus Schwab believes that he can speak his reality into existence, because the more people that are talking about eating bugs and living in pods, the more people he can convince to talk about eating bugs and living in pods. But there is always us, the virus, I guess you could call us. That's probably what we look like from their end. That are always going to be putting out that other message that's going to be going, no, you don't, bro. You can come out here and live in the woods with us and like smoke weed and climb trees and hang out
Hang
with
with
goats and
chickens.
shit.
Hang with chickens all day, man.
Yeah,
Yeah. or harvest your own food naturally.
Yeah.
The only time I'm
absolutely.
eating a fucking bug is if I'm in a survival situation.
That's right.
That's
Sorry.
it.
You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not going to enjoy it. I'm just doing it for calories at that point. It's like,
So that you can
okay,
keep
there's this
moving.
white grub. I guess I'm going to just fucking pop it down. I'll taste it later, hopefully not, and move on. But no, I'm not eating bugs when
That's
I
right.
have a chance to harvest a deer, a duck, a dove,
A squirrel,
turkey,
a turtle.
squirrel. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Snake, I don't
Like,
care,
come
bro.
on, get the fuck out of here. Give me some flour. I'll knead that into with some eggs and some dough and make some squirrel pot pie. Like, and that's the Amish way. When I say pot pie, it's not those little pie looking things with vegetables and what have you in them. Amish pot pie is like thick. You throw your meat in there. You got thick ass dough squares and potatoes and onions and everything else. And it's like, oh my God, this tastes so fucking good. And it's
see, the
like,
thing is, the people that are going to eat the bugs and live in the pods are the people that don't have any survival skills whatsoever. The people that have no
It's
mechanical
DoorDashers.
skills. The door dashers. The people that
Will
have
die.
no country living experience, nothing like that. You're going to live in the pods and you're going to eat the bugs, man, because you got no other choice.
exactly.
That's the truth.
And you know what? Hopefully they will be the week that dies off, because I don't know. I can carry my cast iron pan from my stove to my fire ring outside and cook the same fucking meal, but it's probably going to taste better out on my fire pit. Or I can grill something up or whatever.
People
I was
overlook
always
the
known
skill of
to
cooking.
everywhere we went. Oh, why are you building a fire? I don't know, because I can. You know what I mean? Like, just
Why
build
not?
a little tiny fire.
Yeah. Why not? You know what I mean? It's just, like cooking skills and stuff like that. And like exactly what Bandit's saying. And I make this joke because it's referenced a lot in a lot of other things outside of our show, but like the whole Jetsons and the Flintstones thing. All those guys that want their social credit and they want all this technology and they want to be a part of that society that's doing all of that, they're going to be probably like the Jetsons, and we're going to be down here like the Flintstones, kicking it off and having a bomb ass time, running around in our little stone wheel cars and whatever else we got going on. Like,
it's not going to be the Jetsons they think it is, though.
no, it's not. Absolutely not. No, it's going to be.
You ever looked into the conspiracy theory behind the Jetsons and
George
Flintstones?
Jetson.
That's what I'm talking about. They go on at the same time.
Yeah, George Jetson was just born a few months ago. George Jetson was born in 2022.
Well, I'm talking about the cartoon. Okay, so the conspiracy theory is something catastrophic happened to the Earth, i.e., nuclear warfare, whatever, and the elite, which were the Jetsons, moved up into space, and everyone else that kind of ran and hid were the Flintstones. And
Weren't there
then
some
if
names?
you watch the cartoon, they intermingle at certain points.
There was names too that were the same. Like, wasn't Fred Flintstone's boss family to George Jetson or one of George Jetson's bosses? I think I know what you're talking about. I know.
It was something like that. But it was like, as a kid, when I grown up watching that, I never put two and two together. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh shit, what are they really trying to tell us? And now, the elite are going to live in pods, maybe not in space, eat bugs and do their rich thing. And here we are, left to be Stone Age. Well, I'll take Stone Age all day, every day.
Any day. So let's tie this into reality. and this would be my final thought. Saudi Arabia is executing people that won't move away from the area that they're building their huge mega city. They're executing people that won't leave, and they're sentencing their families to decades of hard labor to get an area that they're going to build, that the line city we've been talking about. They're building that, and they're evicting people, and those that won't leave are getting executed, and their families are being sentenced to hard labor.
Oh, that's very humane.
Mm-hmm.
That was a joke, guys.
Oh, I know. I know.
I know you guys got it. I was talking to your listeners.
You're muted.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm sorry. I was trying to actually look that up real quick while you were talking about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. That's what's going on. Yeah. We aren't. I mean,
eminent domain.
They can try. I would.
I'm gonna try to have something pulled up for this with the episode. I'm finding a couple things, but it's you know how it is. It's a bunch of gobbledygook. I got to get on my good search engine. We try not to use Bing and Google as much as we can. Like we've been using Gabia. Is that the one that I don't know? I have it saved here. It's just the one that
I remember the one Luis.
I like the one Luis sent me. Yeah, Luis is good about. Luis is good about having alternatives for us. You know what I'm saying? Like he's always on top of finding some good stuff and looking for good alternatives for us. And he's the most interesting man in the world. I'm sorry he couldn't make it tonight.
He is.
He's indisposed this week. He said he'll be back with us next week. So,
Bandit,
good
you
stuff.
need to come on talk at the tavern. Just saying.
Okay. All right.
I sent JB the links, and I don't know. Hit me up on Instagram so I can send you the link personally or whatever. Yeah, come on the tavern.
Yeah, I think I invited him last time, but I think it was running into something that it was like his dinner time or something that day.
I got caught with something. It's yeah.
Every now and then he gets popped up with something and he's just like, I gotta go, I can't do it. I'm just like, okay, buddy.
Yeah. Well, 8 out of 10 times I'm here. About 8 out of 10 times I'm here.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I'm
all good.
Bandit's been a trooper, man. He has been with me since the beginning, and when we picked up Luis, that was kind of my extra filler. And
that was yeah.
We've grown since then. Yeah. Oh no. Finding Luis was a blessing, I think. When
it was out of left field that he came into like being a regular on the show was just because Jimmy and I are not exactly the most technical of people.
Same.
We sort of are. Kentucky and Georgia. I mean, you can't. What can you say?
Yeah.
And to pick Luis up,
Pennsylvania.
and to pick Luis up was he brought a different side of everything to the show. More color. Not in not in the race sense, man. Why did I put it like that?
Well, I mean, but no, I wanted to. I did. That was something I talked about. Is how I wanted a variety of people on here. You met Kel tonight, and we have Luis and we have Caitlin. So like, I try to be all over the perspective. Heck, I even got a dude that's got like some what does Ox got? He's got Russian blood in him, don't he? So I try to. There's so many different perspectives out there, and it's good to have all those different perspectives mixing and mingling. And I think we've got a fantastic crew. Like, I love our crew. I couldn't ask for a better crew than the crew we have now.
You have a well diverse crew, and it's awesome because I was blessed to meet Kel because it was like, oh wow, as soon as I heard him talk, I'm like, oh, this guy's going to drop some bombs and ask some good questions.
I love Kel, man.
Me
and him go back since before the show and stuff like that. But I brought him I asked him one day, I was like, "You want to be on the show?" And I brought him on as a guest a few times and had him in the early stages of the show. And then he, bless his heart, he had a bunch of health issues hit him at one time and a bunch of stuff going on. And he kind of vanished on me for about 2 or 3 months. And about a month ago, he messaged me and was like, "Hey, man, can I still come back to the show?" I was like, "When you want to be there, I'll send you the link right now. Like, let's go. Like, we've been waiting for you to come back. I held your position the entire time. I promise." Like he's a real good dude, and that's somebody I care a lot about. And he's our oldest host because he's pushing it up there. He tells us stories from growing up in the '70s. So
Oh shit, he's that old?
he's yeah, man. He's an older fella.
No.
Yeah, right. And they talk about keeping it together and looking good, right?
Well, that's what I love about black people. They never look their age, ever. You could be driving down the road and your head whips to the side and you're like, "Damn, girl." And then you find out she's like 65. And you're like, "What the fuck?" You know what I mean? Like, or a dude be like, "Oh yeah, let's go do this, that." Man, I'm like 70 years old. You look 30. They age like fine wine.
Hey, man, that's
Bandit,
good though.
I will tell you to take your glasses off if you're gonna look at your phone while you're being recorded, because everything can be seen in the reflection of your glasses.
It's not that bad, is it?
Yeah.
Don't be looking at those pictures while we're on recording, bro.
Yeah, he's
Like,
looking up. Yeah. Fuck, dude, donkey shows are so overrated.
There's better things out there, man. The donkey show's so '90s, man. We can find something better.
Yeah. Come on.
No, Ghost. I think
Penguin shows.
Oh man, Ghost, this has been a blast tonight. I actually can't wait to have you back again and get you mixed in with some of the other folks we got up on the show, man. Like we got all kinds of opinions and backgrounds. We even got some guests that are reoccurring guests that like to come and hang out on the show. I think you'd hold some good conversation with too, man. So we're going to hook something up here.
Absolutely.
Well, I always love passing information around. I know we all like to share guests and stuff like that on shows and stuff too, man. That's the way it needs to be though. Like we're building a family in a weird way, I think.
In a weird way, but not in a homo way.
Not in a homo way. No, it's
no homo.
What do they refer to us now as? We're all cis men because we're not homo.
Yes.
Yeah. I didn't vote on that, so I can I call a card of saying I'm offended by that and that they shouldn't be able to call me by that pronoun? That's how that works, right?
That's how it works, but that's not your character.
I'm a pirate. That's what I identify as. So, do you got any? Would you mind telling everybody that's been out there listening and enjoying your show this evening one more time, where we can find everything going on with you, bud?
My Third Eye podcast at anywhere you can get a podcast these days. I'm even on iHeartRadio.
Nice.
You can hit my link tree, which I see that you brought up.
I did. I try to make sure I keep those on the hand.
And patreon.com/My Third Eye Podcast. You can hear me on Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. Mondays is Talk at the Tavern. Tuesdays is Cunt. And Wednesdays is my regular episode. And you can also catch me over at Bizarre Encounters with Shane. And that's pretty much it.
Fantastic, guys. And you guys know that we will have all of that and all of those links over there at unconstitutionalawakening.com so that you can find everything to get back to Ghost and go show him some love, because that's what it's all about, man.
Yeah, I got you on Instagram.
Yeah,
Nice.
spread it around. That's how we run it, is we spread it around. Bandit, you got anything for me before we get ready?
I do not. I'm just glad to finally get everything working again,
I am too. I was getting a little worried about you there for a little while because you were in and out and you were looking angry, but I could tell you were diligently working.
Trying. Yeah. My other computer took a shit, so
Did you get my private message?
I gotta figure. Yeah. Yep.
I don't know what operating system you have, but man, That helped me out. I was running Windows 8 for the longest fucking time.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I
it would
feel
help me
that.
out. Like shit would freeze up and I'd run that and it'd clear out everything and then everything would start firing. Nice.
Well, you guys know before I sign out, I always have to give you guys something good to laugh at. So a pirate walks into the bar, and it was at that moment that the pirate had realized he was wearing his eye patch on the wrong eye. You guys have a great night. Thank you.